I feel like I've been trying.
Smells floral.
Life. There's several contradictions at play. First, I like to do my hair so I look like sharp, but I also like to spontaneously do movement drills for jiu-jitsu that involve me putting my head on the ground, which would mess up my hair. So it's just this or other random physical activities. So it's just this duality of wanting to look fresh, but also wanting to get down and dirty constantly. So what you just saw me doing was drinking fermented green tea. I just let green tea ferment and just drink that. Had some raw liver with that. Just up early this morning. Slept a bit last night, but basically just rehabbing on the lion diet slowly. Lion diet is absolutely phenomenal for resetting everything. It's amazing. I mean, I feel my brain turning on in wonderful ways. If you're considering doing the lion diet, definitely do it. I feel very reflective on this walk. Making videos forces me to be very self-reflective. I end up thinking a lot about what I'm talking about. I'm like, there's this urge to not quote unquote be cringe, but I don't think that that's real. I think that cringe is, I've always thought this, but I think cringe is very much a psyop. It's like psychological warfare to convince you that being yourself is somehow painful to others. I mean, who cares? Honestly, because you're gonna die and then that's it. So it's really a pain in the butt to spend your life preoccupied with the opinions of other people, because ultimately other people mostly, I don't know, just get around better people. Ultimately, if people are judging you, then get around better people. I've had friends in the past who would subtly try to just nudge me and make me feel insecure and various things it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, the things that people will say and do to try to get under your skin. They'll just hint that you're autistic. They'll hint that you're incompetent, that you can't manage time, that people think you're incompetent. Just these people subtly trying to poison drip. You could be coworkers, people trying to pass off as your friends. They're likely very resentful and jealous of you. And really, I found the culture at large, also in TV and movies, really, it could just be regression to the mean that most people are insecure. So the media that resonates most with people is insecurity-based media. But ultimately, looking at a lot of the media, it's all very insecurity-based. If you look at husbands and wives in the media, it's how often is the husband portrayed as a dunce, or the wife as some frivolous person with who resents her life, or children portrayed as disobedient, siblings portrayed as constantly fighting. It's really weird, just the level of existence that is portrayed as normal in our culture. And just noticing that and then unplugging from it, I found is very helpful. I'm not saying don't ever watch movies or don't watch TV or anything. I'll watch TV or I'll watch movies sometimes. Instagram reels are addictive. YouTube shorts, I like YouTube videos. Try to find better content. I try to focus on jiu-jitsu videos on YouTube because I want to win ADCC. it's a long-term goal, winning ADCC, and I'll talk more about that later. Like, well, I'll just get into that now. So, jiu-jitsu training, I believe the most optimal way to train jiu-jitsu, or really any grappling art or combat sport, is no time limit. I think time limits in training are bad. I mean, I'm taking time off right now. I'm taking a month off because I injured my groin getting thrown, being silly. And what I learned from that is don't go upper body with people who are bigger and taller than you, because they will just disconnect your upper body from your lower body and throw you. So stick to leg attacks, like the little planes taking down the AT-ATs in Star Wars. That's a very good metaphor for taking down bigger guys. And I'll just learn to remember that. But taking a month off now, I'm reflecting on my jiu-jitsu goals as a part of my training, as a part of coming back stronger, as a part of just getting better and not getting worse, and not just stagnating, being like, oh, this is what I've done, so I'm going to keep doing this. Really like reevaluating my jiu-jitsu again, reevaluating how everything flows together, how my long-term goal of winning ADCC meshes with my short-term goals of training and my short-term goals of health, and my short-term business goals, my long-term business goals, and my long and short-term family goals, and like I want to go camping and all this stuff. So I'm meditating on that and reflecting on like walking as a part of my training, all this stuff, and really just thinking back to all the time I spent doing no time limit jiu-jitsu at NESF, New England Submission Fighting, for those of you who don't know. Amazing gym, check it out if you're ever in the area. And currently I train at BTT Boston and BTT Plastow, and those are awesome gyms. Whole BTT system is awesome. BTT Plastow, awesome gym. Like, these are, and I like BTT, so I'll talk about the advantages of both gyms just quickly because I like them both. But BTT, incredibly well-rounded. Like, everyone is very good at everything. NESF don't have the insane well-roundedness. There's not really that much stand-up, at least when I was there, but save for a few people who did stand-up. But the style, the no time limit style, is that NESF practices is so helpful for developing actual submission defense and really persistent submission offense and energy efficiency. When I was training no time limits, I could just roll it open mats forever. Now it's like cardio. I mean, it's a lot of it is my own mentality. I get brought into the game of competing for position, the positional sparring game. But ultimately, it's on me to find some way to create the optimal training system for myself to win ADCC. I think I'll probably stop into NESF Boston, train there a few times, and keep the majority of my training at either home with my brother, because he is my best drill partner, or at BTT Plastow within the BTT system, because I really like BTT as well. Like, BTT is very excellent competitive school, and I want to get exposed. Like, when I was wrestling in high school, I would train at Smitty's and Doughboys. I would alternate on the off season. I train like one, like spring Smitty's, summer Doughboys, spring Smitty's, and training at different gyms really helped me get accustomed to different styles, which helped me develop my own unique style and my own unique understanding of training and the benefits and disadvantages of different training styles. But some people can see training at different gyms as sleeping around. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're all just here for a short time on this earth, so I'm not going to let people's perceptions of things affect what I'm going to do, because ultimately, like, it's all good. I don't know. I have a respect to everyone who's ever taught me jiu-jitsu, and BTT is an awesome system, but dang, I'm just missing NESF and their no time limit 50-minute inevitable submissions. I really miss that. It was a certain superpower, and I want to combine the absolute god mastery of all techniques that BTT seems to have with the inevitable death march that is NESF's slow submission style of jiu-jitsu. Oh, combined with a little flair of my own in the basement. But anyway, it is interesting because that ties in with what I'm doing right now. Like right now, I was going to go do a tournament. I mean, like now current, what I'm doing is going to do a tournament December 13th, but not doing that. Groin injury. And I think that this is just an indication of focusing on one thing at a time. Ultimately, I'm focusing a lot on business right now. I'm releasing all these new supplements, and the book that I'm writing and all these business stuff, that ultimately I can't focus on being world-class in business at the exact same time that I'm focusing on being world-class in jiu-jitsu. It's like one has to take back burner or it's just craziness. So I think ultimately the groin injury is just a reflection of that. It's a reflection of the fact that I need to allow jiu-jitsu to take the back burner in this season of life while still doing it, and then come springtime and everything's going, get back into full competition swing, release a bunch of content about how to train for competition, how to do that. That's its own thing. But also like the long, I gotta go piss in the woods in a second. Just letting you guys know for interest, because if you're ever somewhere there's woods and you're like, oh, where do I pee? Well, you can pee in the woods. It's amazing. So long-term training plans are interesting because I have a 550-pound deadlift, lifted massive boulders. I've done weighted dips with 160 pounds hanging off me as gymnastics rings. I'm at like 10% body fat right now. I've done like marathon distances. I've sprinted, and I've done like all the major fitness goals I could think of, except for like I snatched a 106-pound kettlebell. So I'm thinking now, in terms of my training, I'm like, I'm just going to keep pursuing insanely higher deadlifts. Like, what am I going to do? Get my deadlift to 1,000 pounds. How's that going to improve my jiu-jitsu? Probably just going to blow out my back. So I'm looking at lifetime training programs, of which there are none. I'm inventing my own. And I'm thinking about like Turkish get-ups, snatches, swings, these sorts of movements, like push-ups, squats, bodyweight squats, back bridges, calisthenics. I think play inevitably is the most superior form of training. It has to be, because I'm watching my children, and the way they develop their ability to progress physically is through play. They do small little micro activities, and they'll be like, oh, I want to climb this, and they work on climbing that, and they're able to climb it. Same way with like deadlifting. I was like, oh, I want to deadlift a lot, and I worked up deadlifting a lot. And I was like, oh, I want to do pull-ups, so I worked up doing pull-ups. Oh, I want to wrestle, I worked up wrestling. Like, the things that have made me the fittest have come from my desire to do things physically, like hiking, walking. These things make me very, very, very physically fit. So inevitably, I think maximum fitness is going to come from designing some sort of backyard jungle gym type thing, where I'm basically always pushing the boundaries of what I can do physically with my body, movement-wise, and that becomes the driver for strength that allows me to reach that next level. Because I don't think the next level comes from like taking your deadlift from 550 to 700 pounds or 800 pounds. Because I'm doing this without straps, without a belt, just in my compression shorts. So like at some point, it's like I'm just overloading my back, but there's a point of diminishing returns. At what point would I just be better benefited by taking my deadlift strength and converting that into lifting boulder strength? Because lifting boulder strength is different. It's a different kind of strength. It requires different physiological adaptations that would be beneficial, rather than just keep maxing out the one dimension of ab, back, hip strength that comes from deadlifts. There's other dimensions that can be worked on. In the same way that like just endlessly, like once finding the point of diminishing return, the point where injury risk outweighs the benefit of going heavier. I also do think there's a place for slowly training barbell lifts heavier and heavier. I've seen people do that with success, but I think you get locked into planes of motion, at least more locked in than I want to be. Like, I like to run up and down mountains, swing through the trees, swing kettlebells in weird ways. I want to get into like club swinging. Still though, driving for absolute strength, because I think that there's an honesty to that. I think that people lose the plot where they're trying to become these mobility experts. It's like, it was better when you were just trying to deadlift more than the other person. There's an element of that. Like, just pick up a bigger rock. But also though, like, once you've picked up the biggest rock, like, you're like, now I must find a bigger rock. Like, no, you probably need to work on your cardio. You should start going for walks. Like, you're already strong enough. That's like a 500-pound rock. Like, you don't need to pick up a 700-pound rock, like, yet. I mean, at some point, you need to get your tendons, your cardiovascular system, your arteries, veins, mitochondria able to support steady metabolism long enough that your body can maintain the muscle necessary and the bone necessary to support that level of strength without, like, degradation of tissue. This is all very important. This is why people get injured, and I really don't like getting injured. Like, I have the groin injury. I hate getting injured. It drives me crazy. I hate it. It's like, I like my body to work. I like my body to work really well. And when it doesn't work really well, it drives me absolutely effing insane. So, yeah, I don't want to be, like, ripping my back apart and, like, crushing all my vertebrae trying to deadlift some absurd number. And I think that, like, I don't know. I think a Turkish get-up, amazing movement. I'm going to push that very high. Love to see what the heaviest Turkish get-up I can do is. But, like, after, like, you're doing, like, 106-pound Turkish get-ups, at some point, I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to start converting this into, like, gymnastics or something else. It's like, take strength and convert it. Like, right now, I'm walking. I'm taking mild exercise in the form of walking, and I'm going to convert that. I am converting. It just converts on its own through physiological adaptation into jujitsu conditioning, into greater, stronger legs, into buttery smooth joints, because I'm walking on uneven surfaces when I get to the trail. And I'm looking at my training program over the long term. I'm 25 right now. I'm at a pivotal age, 25. Man, I'd be a man in Athens. The age Valentine Michael Smith was when he came to Earth. 25, you know? Quarter of a century. There's a lot going on at 25. It's 5 times 5. It's a great number to be. So I'm thinking, like, okay, I mean, 35 in 10 years. So let's say, like, I think like 30 to 40 is your athletic peak. You could probably push that a little bit. You have George Foreman knocking out Michael Moore, I think, at like 45 or something. Like, you have some people who are older who are doing some amazing stuff and have done some amazing stuff, but it gets harder. Like, you do lose something. I mean, I think reverse aging is possible, but I'm not going to be deluded. I'm going to plan for normal, excellent, beyond average aging, even though that's a contradiction, because life is full of contradictions. So I'm going to plan for that. I assume my peak is going to be from like 35, 40, and assuming that that's my peak, like 30 to 40, I'm like, okay, so I want to peak at 35. And then let's say I have a run from 35 to 40. That would be a really good run if I'm injury free. Try to win ADCC, probably have like 3 tries during that period. So my goal to get to that point is just to develop the knowledge of the skills and adaptations I will need, and then practice those skills and develop those adaptations necessary over a long period of time while remaining injury free, so that I'm 35 and like not completely jacked up, and all these other people I'm competing against are completely jacked up because they've been trying to win ADCC since they were my age. And it's like, no, dude, like, these are fights, these are dangerous submission holds, these will wreck your joints. I want to have, I mean, I have a lot of competition experience. I'm going to be getting more competition experience because you just need competition experience. It's its own thing. But I want to do that with a focus on just gaining comfortability in the competition setting, like defensive jiu-jitsu, that kind of thing. If you want to watch some Britt Mickelson defensive jiu-jitsu videos, give you a good idea of that. And ESF practices that style well. And I practice that style at BTT, also practicing just whatever I'm learning I teach myself at my house, whatever my coaches are teaching me, picking up stuff everywhere, and practicing all these different strategies and stuff, and then eventually bringing that into competition. Because right now I am, like I said, I'm focusing on business, I'm focusing on my family, I'm focusing on just maintaining my sleep, I'm focusing on like helping my family out. Like, it's a lot going on, and I can't really take time away to psychotically focus on strangling people for jiu-jitsu tournaments at the moment. But I can lay the foundation for the practices and habits that will, over the course of 10 years, bring me there. So ultimately, meditating is super helpful just to maintain clear focus on what I'm doing. I think that's a lot of jiu-jitsu, is just in grappling in general, is clear thinking. It's a thinking man's game. And moving, studying the game during my month off, practicing my movement, practicing my strength, getting back into strength training more, letting my body adapt to lion diet and the athletic benefits that come from that. And sort of using the training, like using these walks as ways to help improve my mental focus so that I'm accomplishing more with less. Like, ultimately, I have to blend my life together. I have to blend jiu-jitsu with business, with family, but it's a mental thing, though. It's a philosophy. It's like you have your overarching life philosophy that manifests in different planes of your life. You have like the career plane of your life, you have the family plane, you have like what you do with your body for athletics plane, all this stuff. And like even like mental focus. Like, I like jiu-jitsu because it keeps me mentally focused. So this puzzle, it unifies everything. I need it. Like, at the end of the day, I need it. I've realized I just need jiu-jitsu. I've had the crazy urge to just quit jiu-jitsu and start doing judo or something. Like, maybe judo's the way. No, I love jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is so amazing for the sheer creativity that can, a number of different styles and skill sets that can succeed and compete under a jiu-jitsu rule set is absolutely incredible. So like Nogi, wow. I love it. I love no time limit. I think about Mongolian wrestling and their no time limit stand-up. I'd love to incorporate that into my training. No time limit wrestling too, like pin. I think no time limit is like the way. I think rounds are for competition, maybe. I think you lose a lot with that round structure, and you have to force people to compete all the time. Like, the reason wrestling can get by with time limits and it doesn't ruin the sport is because the sport is competing. Jiu-jitsu isn't found on the competition mat as much as in the training room. So you have to find a way to keep purity there. And when you're doing time limit rounds, someone will be like, oh, my goal will be to stall at the end of the round. Your goal is to submit me, or your goal is to remain on top. Oh, we both accomplished our goal. And it's like, you're not really trying, because your goal is just to stay on top and his goal is just not get submitted. But in no time limit round, you have to confront that ego. It's like, one of you is going to tap. It's the only way it ends. So someone's going to lose. And in a currency that everyone understands. And I think that keeps a purity to it. And then wrestling is just that, like, your coach screams at you if you lose. Like, you can't lose matches. Like, people who lose matches all the time are, I mean, like, you can, like, but you gotta try. Like, you know what I mean? People, they just quit. Like, if your heart's not in it, because you're letting the team down, you're letting everyone down. So wrestling just kind of forces that brotherhood mentality to, like, keep that. But jiu-jitsu, you need the no time limit. Even wrestling, I think, needs the no time limit. I would love to, like, have a series of, like, classes that were taught in jiu-jitsu gyms that were no time limit based. Like, I may try to get those introduced at BTT. Who knows? I think that that's a really good idea though, because I think it would really, I don't know. I don't want to tell people how to like run their stuff, because like people get upset about that. And that's something I've noticed getting older is I used to just tell people all of my opinions all the time. And I still think there's a lot of merit to that. But I've noticed that just telling people all of my opinions all the time tends to upset them, because then they think that I think that they know how they should live their life. And it's like, it's not that I do. I just like ideas and I want to see all these ideas implemented. So I'm like, let's just get these ideas out there. So ultimately, yeah, that's my overall plan for jiu-jitsu. And this is also a testing ground for my ideas on athleticism, reverse aging, bodily integrity. Health and strength cannot be divorced. So I'm ultimately trying to not just prove ideas in abstraction or prove that I can, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm trying to prove, I don't want to prove anything. I already proved everything to myself, which is nice. Not everything, but I proved a lot to myself. And there's still more things I want to do, but it's from this place of like, of course I want to eat my dinner. Like, I had my breakfast, I had my lunch, now I'm going to eat my dinner, and it's going to be awesome, and there's going to be dessert. And that's like winning ADCC and like growing Week 2 Warriors, like this massive company. And like, just like everything else, I mean, I really do want to write a book, like write and publish God Engine. Like that's, I guess, but really doing to, I don't know, they're like milestones. It's like when you prove something to yourself. I am trying to pass my own tests, I guess. I mean, I want to know, because the people I admire write really amazing books. So I'm like, am I someone that I admire? Am I going to write a book that I admire? I want to see. Like, I want to see if I'm someone I admire, if I can be someone I admire. Because that's cool. Like, that's a really cool thing to, like, be and do the things you admire. I mean, not that everyone I admire has written a book, but, like, it's like, you admire people for doing hard things, for doing things that are unconventional. You admire someone for just walking out their door in the morning, because, I mean, unless it's particularly hard to do that, or there was some sort of confusion that was of paramount importance centered around the issue of something or other, and they chose properly at the apex of necessity, then that's very admirable. But again, it's the choosing rightly at the apex of necessity through the veil of confusion that's admirable. It's not the micro of walking out the door. So walking out the door is important, as James Joyce talks about in Ulysses, which is just this. I gotta read that because I'm so into the Odyssey. Yeah, I wonder if Ulysses is like, if it's gonna disappoint me. I don't know, it might just mind mess with me. It's fascinating. Yeah, lion diet, long-term optimization, meal timing is really important. Consuming salt is really important. Hydration is really important. Some vitamins be very important, and just adaptation, like taking time to adapt to the lion diet is really crucial, because adapting to it means like, it's hard to adapt. Like, it's actually not just the most automatic thing for your body to go from not eating any, or not eating only meat, to eating exclusively meat. It's different. You can tell my tone and cadence is changing because it's going to be less linear. Because now I'm walking on a less linear path. I'm walking in the woods now. I made it to the woods. So having the patience for my body to adapt to the lion diet has been extremely helpful. I feel amazing. I feel so much energy. I just like want to move all the time. Green tea, lion diet. It is a gift from God to be able to feel this good. And ultimately, I think as I'm doing ribeye and lion diet, the high fat content is going to allow me to stay on the diet longer, because higher fat content allows for increased detoxification and less absorption of iron, which excessive absorption of iron, which happens with higher protein content, will eventually lead to excess iron accumulation in the cell, decreases in enzyme production. Iron and decreased enzyme production in the gut is a very common thing. Ultimately, these are all mitigated, I hope, by green tea and the higher fat content, but ultimately I can cycle on to dairy-based probiotics and other probiotics that I found safer, and just kind of like do a more conservative cyclic lion diet approach. My long-term training goal is to have my tendons and ligaments ridiculously strong and my body ridiculously mobile by 35. So ultimately, strength I only want to increase marginally, but I mean that's probably increase a lot because I just have a genetic predisposition towards strength. Mobility I want to increase a lot. Strength through different ranges of motion, like Cossack squat, I want to increase a lot. Ability, just natural movement like hiking, I want to increase a lot. Forearm strength. This is actually interesting forearm exercise. Just take a hiking stick and just spin it so you can get little tight circles. That'll give your forearms a heck of a workout. But yeah, and then just incorporating that into my lifestyle. I was reading Henry Ford's book the other day, and it's interesting. Like, I want to keep pushing myself for more and bigger and like really deriving interest from business, but it's so necessary to balance that with other things like jiu-jitsu, hiking. I'd say more like reading. I need more powerful pulls away from work because I just work all the time. Like, I love it. It's just so interesting to me. I'm like, how can I grow Weak to Warrior? How can I sell more supplements? How can I like serve people with insomnia better and kill this insomnia demon? Like, how can I rid the world of insomnia and like make a name for myself on the planet? But at the end of the day, like, it's kind of egomaniacal. So I kind of want to take that whole egomaniacalness and encapsulate that in a very specific goal of winning ADCC. So like, that's my egomaniacalness. I'm going to win ADCC. I'm going to be the best jiu-jitsu athlete in the world for one day. And at my weight class in no-gi. So that's going to be my, you know what I mean? Like, I have to funnel it into something while at the same time being like, okay, well, how am I going to not allow that to destroy me? Well, I'm going to have a long-term plan. I'm going to make this the pinnacle of optimizing health and strength and strategy over time with people that I love and care about, incorporating natural environments and other things like that into that while studying physiology and funneling that into the company. Like, you're going to be this ecosystem of things rather than just one thing that I'm focused on at the exclusion of everything else. I really want to pick up this rock. That would be so cool. This thing is massive, but that would be like a life goal, like picking up that rock. Because I always see that photo of that dude who threw the other dude. I just Googled, all I did was Google the greatest wrestling throw of all time. It comes up, it's Chris Taylor throwing at the 1972 Olympics. But like, I just would love to be able to throw someone that big. And that idea was what got me to try to throw that other dude in jiu-jitsu, which ended up injuring my groin. So now I'm going to be stuck doing solo drills and ruining my sharp hairstyle, which brings everything back full circle from my walk. And I'm now going to listen to some Dr. Peterson. On the subject of hair, it's interesting that in the Iliad, the ancient Greeks, or the Greeks were called the long-haired Greeks. There's something interesting about masculinity, hair, the lack thereof, the focus on it. It's like peacocking. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe I'll lose my hair someday and then I won't be focused on it. But while I have hair, I will make the most of my hair and allow that to be a running contradiction, as is all life. Because the contradiction of the opposition holds it up. It's like, I want to be efficient, so I shouldn't have any hair. But not having hair, you have to like shave your head constantly, and it's just like, I don't know, like, it feels kind of inferior. Like, the lion has a mane. The lion has a mane. And I just think about it, I'm like, well, I don't know. It's kind of like absurd, like doing my hair like hair gel. It's like an absurd thing. Like, I make this viscous gel and I put it in my hair and I comb it back, but like, so is everything else we do. And at the end of the day, like this absurd show of life is something to be participated in. Like, we should take joy in our costumes, show up to the ball fully dressed, swords at our waists, ready to die, and also have a good time. Because it's the same thing, you know? Like, the frivolity of getting dressed up and like doing your hair, like being like treating things like an occasion is kind of the joy of life. It's like, it's the ability to get dressed up and to be dressed up and have states of undress and states of dress, as opposed to just walking around bald in a hazmat suit all the time that has a bow tie like on the cover. It's like the human thing. It's like, it adds flavor and character to life. It's also a pain in the butt, but like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll just shave all my hair off, but I think it's a challenge though. I think it is a challenge to like incorporate your appearance fully into your lifestyle and into how you want to present yourself. It's weird. Like, I feel weird talking about it, but it's something everyone does. So I embrace it fully, and I say, let me fully experience the dichotomy of how trying to have an awesome hairstyle and be absurdly active doing a grappling sport that involves the use of your head. Like, if I boxed, I could just hit the heavy bag, but it's like, I do grappling sports. It just messes up your hair. But it's like, I don't know. Maybe I just like come up with a pomade or something that doesn't have a gel cast, so I could just like restyle it more easily. It's interesting. I wonder if anyone else has encountered this. I know Gordon Ryan likes to rock the slick back, but I don't know. He's probably encountered the same thing. It's like John Donner is probably just bald. It's like, you guys are ridiculous, trying to wear multiple types of clothing and have hair. Why would you do that? When you can have multiple ways of improving your jiu-jitsu simultaneously and rash guards. Tremendous admiration for that guy. I love jiu-jitsu. I like the different styles too. I like training at different gyms. So I like BTT because they have all the different gyms. So you just experience all the different styles. I think it's good though. Like, ultimately, if anyone from BTT is watching this and they're like, "You're cheating on me," whatever. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I drill in my basement. I haven't been to NESF yet because I'm injured. I'm gonna be back there though, because it's just good. I like the different styles, and I don't like I don't know. I mean, what I could, and then it's like, are you competing for BTT or are you competing for NESF? It's like, I'll compete for who shows up to my mat to coach me next to the mat. Like, that's who I'm competing for ultimately, and I'd love it if both of them could show up. You know what I mean? Like, why have the opposition? Like, GSP had John Danaher and Faraz Sahabi. Like, I want to have a lot of different coaches. You know what I mean? Like, I thought about this too. I'll just keep talking about it because I love this topic. I thought about this, like, different coaches. Like, I want to win ADCC, so I'm going to need dedicated training partners. I got my brother, so that's like a really good one. But like, I'm trying to build this ecosystem at the same time. It's just this interesting challenge, and that's even the YouTube channel is like me putting out this information to attract interest and inform other people who may want to participate in this sort of a thing. I mean, at the end of the day, also, like, we could just start our own submission only, no time limit grappling league. So I'm not really committed to ADCC. Like, I just want to like strangle some people on the world stage. It's just so much fun, and it's instead of just be like, I'm gonna make millions of dollars, because that can get corrupt in finance. Instead of be like, I'm gonna become the ultimate Henry Ford, because it's just kind of monotonous. Like, I don't want to just be doing industry for industry's sake. Like, I want industry for the sake of Kleos, for the sake of glory, eternal glory. Like, that's why I'm doing this, eternal glory. I want eternal glory, and I want eternal glory to be available to my descendants, and I want to manifest this eternal glory every day. And I'd love to have like pinnacles of that where I strangle people on the world stage, and I'm just like, it's like in the Legend of Bagger Vance, the book, where he talks about how Juna and Bobby Jones and Sir Walter Hagen looked like gods up there playing golf. It's like we do access the divine in play. Like in the playful element, we access the divine. And the no time limit style of jiu-jitsu and grappling is the most playful because there's no time limit. Like you could just do anything. It's completely open to whatever. And God is happiest when his children are at play because play is the most creative state. And we fell from grace when we no longer could just play, but we had to work to be able to play. We had to create conditions that allowed for play. But ultimately, like coming back to play, like making work play, that is something my dad's always been very good at. I've always admired that. He's always just done jobs he's found interesting and made a very interesting life for himself. He wanted to travel. He found a job that allowed him to travel. Me though, I mean, I got weak to warrior because I had the sleep issues, so I have to optimize it all around sleep. And then I also wanted to be like a spy when I was younger, so I thought that was really cool. So like strangling people makes you feel enough like James Bond or Batman. But I wrap all these themes together: sleep optimization, it becomes play. It becomes very playful, but it's also creative. It's like, there's stress in play as well. Like if you're playing well, you feel intense desire. As any child who can't find the one Lego piece he's missing knows. It's like, how I need the piece, but he's playing. It's intense. It's engagement. And that's the interesting thing, is that all the emotions come together. It's not that some emotions are bad and some emotions are good. It's that all the emotions come together, like all the colors, producing white, which is the uncreated light and the ultimate image of God. It's like they say, vanity, vanity, all things are vanity. But ultimately, it is in Ecclesiastes, but ultimately, like vanity, what's a vanity? A vanity is something that goes over something else. But we're all just masks of God. Like I have this really cool Mayan mask at my house, like a jaguar and a snake and everything. It's so amazing. It's a mask of God. It's like, it's a mask that represents a human being, the multiplicity. It's like we're all this light image reflecting God. And I think that ultimately we need to be in love with that role. Like we need to be more in love with our ability to be like the creator, not the creation. Like there's a process that creates and there's the thing it creates. You want to focus on the creator within you, not the thing that you're creating. Though that's important as well, but it's the creative process, that creative pattern itself that has all the joy and mystery and power. The creation itself is amazing, but the creation is static. Creation as a process, as a dynamic and ongoing reality, as eternal glory itself, as the uncreated light, as like fire producing instead of consuming. That is like the alchemical fire. Like that's something worthy of orienting your life around, because it's like, okay, the poem, I love this poem. I heard this poem last night. It was, I'll say I'm going to memorize it and then recite it to you because it's so amazing. Okay, so I just used the memory palace technique that I haven't used since like freshman year of high school, that I learned from Moonwalking with Einstein. I memorized this and I haven't gone over it again, so let's see how it goes. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am in 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. In the early morning's hush, I am the swift and gentle rush of birds circling in flight. I am the stars that shine softly at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. So I messed that up a little bit. I'll try it again and I'll comment on it. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am in 1,000 gusts of. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awake in morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of gentle birds in circled flight. I am the stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. I love that. I love that poem. It's just so beautiful. It's like in The Golden Compass, the book, when Lyra and Pan are talking about how they're going to be, like Lyra and Panzer Soul, are talking about how they're going to be together in every single like glint of sunshine and drop of dew, and like it's this identification with the transformative element of the world. It's like, I'm not this static thing. I'm not who I was yesterday. I'm not who I was 5 seconds ago. I am the me that loves constantly and flowing out and transforming and becoming more and observing and seeing and incorporating because of my outpouring of consciousness and love. I think that consciousness and love reaches it sources God, and that flows out into reality like from the sun. And it's a beautiful image. I mean, the sun has the 12 signs of the zodiac around it. You get into symbolism, but it's just, you get what I mean. Ultimately, it's the solar shining consciousness and the duality of day and night as well. It's not just day, it's night. It's the ability to reflect as the moon reflects. And there's a bug on my hand. It's just awesome. I don't know, it's awesome being alive and making these videos and sharing these ideas with you guys. Subscribe for more. Something's telling me that this is the end of the video, and I'm gonna roll with that.